I don't know about you, and you could just weigh into this also, but I'm at a point where I am just so done with politics.
No, I agree, man. I'm just so tired of it. Like, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. You know what I mean? It's in everything I do, everywhere I go.
Everything.
So at this point, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm good with it. I feel like I'm kind of caught up to speed, and a lot of it's a bunch of bullshit anyway. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
so it is. So I think I need to take the time, and I think part of it is because I've noticed recently that I've been accused of being a quote-unquote Trump supporter. And I had to really think about it and give it some really deep intellectual thoughts, because the reality is you know what, there is so much that I like about Trump, and so far he probably has my vote in the next election. I didn't vote for him in the last election. In fact, I was semi-close to being a never-Trumper when he was running for office in 2016. Okay? So when people accuse me of being a Trump supporter, I have to really understand what they actually mean when they say that. I don't think it necessarily means like, oh, you've thought out through all of the policies, and no, what they really mean is you're a racist.
Right. No, I was going to say, because a lot of people give me that too, and I'm like, I'm not a racist. What the heck?
Or you're a racist, or you're a xenophobe, or you're some kind of, I guess, a white nationalist. I'm still trying to figure out how Mexicans can be white nationalists.
I don't know.
So it's just like somebody is wrong here. But the reality is that I had to stop and I had to think for myself and understand, how did I get to this point where I'm actually on Team Trump? Let's put it that way. I'm on Team Trump. I'm not necessarily a flag-waving Trump supporter, though I have thought about it. But there's reasons why that have got me to this point. So when 2016 rolled around, when the elections came around in 2016, I had heavy anxieties because I saw Trump as this person,
evil demon.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I just saw him as somebody that was very thin-skinned, where if Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin just would have said something that he didn't like, then they'd be off going to war with everybody.
Yeah, right.
Would go to war with North Korea, would go to war with Russia, or would go to war with Iran, or whatever the case may be. That was one of the things that I had. I was like, oh my God, this is the end of this is it. We're all gonna die. And that anxiety sat in. I didn't like Hillary, and there was more than enough reasons why not. I didn't want to vote for Hillary. So I voted the same way that I voted in 2012, and that was with Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party. For the last two presidential elections, I've been registered as a Libertarian. And a quick note to that, I've moved away from the Libertarian Party, partly because I don't believe in the stance that they take on religious freedoms, and also their pro-choice, pro-abortion stance. But what was the tipping point for me that pushed me over? I didn't walk willingly over to Team Trump.
Yeah,
okay?
that's my thing too. A lot of people think that I just blindly I'm the opposite of that. I actually go against the grain on a lot of things. I don't follow.
Okay, but before you go there, because there's a lot of things that anti-establishment people don't realize about Trump, but he is actually an anti-establishment guy.
Right.
He is not your typical. I don't believe he's a Republican. He is not your traditional Republican conservative. He is governingly more conservative, but more conservatively than even George Bush.
Yeah.
Think about that. We haven't rushed off to war with Iran, though if it were George Bush or even Obama, we would be in some kind of conflict in Iran. Right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with North Korea. There's been so much diplomacy. He's done things that no other president would thought to do because everybody was thinking like a politician.
Right.
But Trump doesn't think like a politician. He's so anti-establishment. Okay, but let me backtrack. That's not the reason why I am on Team Trump. Here's the reason why. So, it all began with the Brett Kavanaugh saga. Are you familiar with the Brett Kavanaugh saga?
A little. Not to say that I...
The Supreme Court justice that Trump nominated to be in the Supreme Court, and all of a sudden... And this is a guy that's been on federal courts for years and years and years and years. Okay, so and he's had to been vetted by the FBI and all these background things for years. Almost his whole professional career has been background checks and vetting process.
Right.
So he gets to the Supreme Court level. He gets nominated, and all of a sudden, when it comes to the end of his confirmation, all of a sudden, all these accusations come up. Oh, in high school in the 80s when he was 17.
It's always something, though.
You know, he raped me, and all of a sudden, so the Christine Blasey Ford was the main accuser that came out, said that when he was at this preparatory high school in Washington, D.C. in the mid-'80s or whatever it was, that he forced himself on her or raped or whatever. And how many Democrats just outright believed her story before she even testified, before the facts even came out? I was like, and how they villainized and demonized that man. It was basically, you're guilty until you're proven innocent.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that's when I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, these Democrats are kind of crazy. I was on the edge of my seat during that whole process, just listening. And it's just like, this isn't adding up here. So that was the tipping point for me to kind of like really take a hard line look at what was really going on. Now, I think that was kind of like the beginning. I don't want to say the beginning, because like I've been kind of active, I really paid attention to politics, since 2012. Because before that I wasn't. But what that did to me, it really showed me that how I want to say
ignorant.
I don't want to say evil, but I just want to say just deliberately.
Is it ignorance or is it malicious?
No, it's malicious. It's not ignorant. It is malicious, and that because I started to realize how much that people were willing to go to any length. If Trump liked something or approved of something, they automatically had to go against it.
Right.
I mean, no matter what it was, he could have came outside and said, "Hey, it's a good day today." No, it's not. No, it's a bad day today. What are you talking about? Yeah. That's been the reaction.
And people do that. Yeah.
That's been the reaction for
that's
the
what's annoying
last
me.
2.5 years.
Right.
I mean, it's just scrutinizing and this is the one thing that I appreciate about Trump is just like he's not a politician. He'll speak his mind. He'll say what he wants. But that has gotten him into trouble because he doesn't speak like a politician.
Right.
He's very easily criticized, but then you can make his words say so many different things because he's not polished like a politician. So, which is kind of good. And his Twitter feed, he's the one that made Twitter what it is today.
Dang.
So, anyways, so with all of that going on, and then the election in 2018 with all of these wild left-wing Democrats and AOC and the Green New Deal and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and just this rolling mob of stupidity from the Democratic side. And then as an independent, I'm an independent. Trump has my vote as of now. And as we're talking right now, they just launched, as of today, an impeachment inquiry because he supposedly had a quid pro quo with the president of Ukraine to try to have them investigate Joe Biden. Okay, so we'll see how that goes out. And I mean, if it did happen, yeah, that's kind of bad. And yeah, it is impeachable. The question is, did it actually happen? But I don't trust the media.
Right, for sure. That's
I don't trust the media, and I don't trust the Democrats because they're ultimately going to go to a place with this, which is already to the extreme. Like he's already guilty before they even start looking into it. So it's just like, why even look into it?
To me, the sad thing is the media is social media now. Like everybody gets their information on social media, and a lot of it is false. Like if people would just take the time and learn for themselves, whereas listening to misinformation and then passing it on as information and so on and so on, and before you know it, it's just everybody believes the hype. It's like, well, hold on. There's always two sides to every story, but yet everybody's like, well, just because he's Trump, he's got to be this evil dictator, freaking, Freddy Krueger monster. And it's like, hold on. It's not fair. But if it were the other way around, if this was King Obama, everybody be all up in arms and, it'd be a big old deal. But it's like...
Well, the thing that I didn't like is I didn't like being made a fool of. Okay?
Right.
So, like I said, when Trump first got in office, I did not like him. I did not like his personality, and he has character flaws, and one of them is his personality. He's not a great guy.
Right.
I'm going to say that up front. He's not a great guy. I like his policies, and I like how he's running things, but at the same time, I don't think he's a great guy. But what I hated was, especially during the Charlottesville incident, where they took his words, they cut out a specific part where it says they were good people on both sides. And basically saying, because on both sides of that protest in Charlottesville, they were people protesting about taking the statues down of the Confederate soldier.
Right.
And then the other side which did consist of racists and white nationalists and white supremacists who wanted that statue to remain up. Now, what people just focused on, the mainstream media focused on, and this is why people think he's a racist, because he said there were good people on both sides. Well, there were good people on both sides of that protest. You had the people that wanted it up. There are people that wanted it down. No, but they're there to protest. So they made the assumption that he was talking about, he's talking the whites.
Yeah.
But when you go back and you listen to the whole damn clip, he says, I'm not talking about the white supremacists. They should be condemned.
Yeah, but they cut that out. They take that out.
And when you point that out to people that still use that as their argument, they're like, they like, he's probably going to be upset. But when I talked to Angel last time, he brought that up, and I was like, well, did you ever listen to the whole thing?
Well, would he be willing to get rid of Mount Rushmore then?
Trump?
No. Like those people that are saying, we got to get rid of these statues, or like Angel.
Well, the Confederate statues is because it's supposed to be a symbol of slavery.
Well, look what they stole this land from the Native Americans. They enslaved Native Americans, and that mountain, let's not forget, to in South Dakota, wherever it is, to those people was a very sacred mountain, and they defaced it. How come they're not up in arms about that? But yeah, they want to talk about a statue.
Yeah,
there's it's a double-edged sword. It's like, okay, well then, it's like either have it your way or no way. But it's like, okay, well then, if you're going to take it to this extreme, then let's go all the way to that extreme then, and let's see where your heart really lies. Like Walmart and this whole ammo thing. Like if they really felt that bad about it, how come they just didn't take all the ammo off the shelves?
Yeah,
But,
Well, and that's another thing
like,
too.
Come on, man.
When you look at, I hate calling him Beto. His name is not Beto. It's Robert Francis O'Rourke. Okay, get that, this fake Mexican that's running for president out of Texas.
Oh God.
All right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm all for. Okay, here we go. Everybody's gonna be all
okay.
Jose's a racist. I'm all for Mexican president or whatever.
He's not Mexican.
But it's like
Beto O'Rourke is not Mexican.
What is he? Is he what, Spaniard?
No. He is. He's white.
No way.
He was just. He had because he's from Texas, from San Antonio or El Paso, so he was just given the nickname Beto because his name is Robert.
Oh, but he's riding on that. So, and he speaks the craziest Spanish. I don't know if you've ever heard him speak Spanish, and I'm going to pull it up for you right now because it is the funniest thing I have ever heard in my life. So give me a second. We'll edit all this out because we're doing it a post. Okay.
Here, you want to plug it in?
I can't believe it. Sophie opened up a wormhole through time. I can't believe it.
With hundreds of dollars on my car.
Okay, go ahead and
with Geico.
go ahead and record.
Yeah, it's recording.
Oh, is it?
This economy has got to work.
Okay, so this is
for
this is
everyone.
our,
So this is that guy.
And right now,
the
we
guy
know
that wants to
that
take
it
your
isn't.
AR.
And it's going
He
to
was
take all of us
actually
coming
wanting to
together to make
implement
sure that it does. Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía. Pero si queremos hacer eso, necesitamos incluir cada persona en nuestra democracia. Cada votante necesitamos la representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar. Right now, we have a system that favors those who can pay.
Not the greatest Spanish speaker.
Oh man!
Here's another one.
Here's another one. Okay.
Yeah. He's being asked a question by Telemundo or somebody.
Vamos a tratar cada persona con el respeto y dignidad que merecen como humanos.
The
We would
medicine.
not turn back Valeria and her father Oscar. We would accept them into this country and follow our own asylum laws. We would not build walls. We would not put kids in cages. In fact, we would spare no
your
expense
policy
to
would still
reunite the families
criminalize a lot of
that have
these
been
families.
separated already.
Congressman,
And we
your
would not
policy
criminally
would still
prosecute
criminalize
any
them
family
because
who
your
is
policy
fleeing
doesn't call
violence
for the repeal
and
of Section
persecution.
1325.
We would make sure
Secretary,
we
let him
implemented
finish, and I will give you.
His policy
but
would
let him finish.
criminalize
Let him
a lot of
finish,
these
please.
folks.
Yes.
We would not detain any family fleeing violence, in fact, fleeing the deadliest countries on the face of the planet today. We would implement a family case management program so they could be cared for.
I thought we already have all this
at
stuff.
a fraction of the cost. And then we would rewrite our immigration
Just in
laws in our
California.
own image.
They want to do
Free
it
dreamers
nationwide.
forever from any fear of deportation by making them U.S. citizens here in this country. Invest in solutions in Central America, work with regional stakeholders so there's no reason to make that 2,000-mile journey to this country.
Secretary, I'll give you 30 seconds.
Let's be very clear. The reason that they're separating these little children from their families is that they're using
Anyways.
Section 1325 of that act.
Yeah, he could have tried a little better. Got like a speech coach or someone to teach him.
Well, but that's what I was saying. The Democratic Party has just been this incredibly
They're just riding the wave.
They're-
That's all it is, bro. They're just riding.
They're
that.
pander. They just pander. They pander. The funny thing is, like Kamala Harris, who's running for president right now, and so California's always been really hard, especially on marijuana convictions, right? I mean, it's
Right.
only been recently. Well, she was the attorney general of the state that put plenty of people behind bars. Like she was the top cop in the state, right? As attorney general. So while she was, I don't think she was, but like when she was in college or whenever she was admitted to on the Breakfast Club, that morning show with
Right.
Charlemagne and whatever else. So she admitted to smoking marijuana and listening to Tupac and trying to be,
God.
just that trying to be that pandering, but yet she still helped convict people that were.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But we had medical marijuana laws in the 90s, mid-90s, I think. In 95 it started.
Yeah, but she was using it
Recreational.
recreationally. Thank you.
Oh.
And then yet she was still putting people in jail for it.
Damn.
And see, but
That sounds like a politician,
but
right?
here's what I'm saying though. Everybody, even on the Republican side, like I said, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but the thing that I look at is that I do not like establishment kind of guys. And I think Donald Trump embodies this anti-establishment kind of mentality. It just so happens that he's the Republican president.
Right.
Okay. But he's really, I mean, I appreciate it. He's the first Republican president to ever come out in support of LGBT rights. First. And I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. I'm glad he did it. He wants to force other countries that make homosexuality illegal to change that. All right?
Dang.
This is a first.
Yeah, I see a lot of, what is it, LGBTQ or whatever, like condemning Trump. Oh, he's against us. And, that's that misinformation I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Even amongst like family members that I speak to, I'm like, wait a minute, are you sure you're saying that right? Did you hear that right? And then a lot of times, we always end up arguing over it, but it's at the same time, it's like, okay, fine. We all have our opinions. We all have our views. That's what makes this country great. If I were to say, I guess my biggest pet peeve is believing it just because everybody else is saying it. To me, that's what pisses me off the most. It's like, just because everybody else is doing this, don't mean we all have to follow, the status quo. I don't know. I've never been into conformity.
Yeah, but so this is where all this is basically boiling down to. So after listening today and then realizing like how quickly that people jump to conclusions without listening to the facts first, and that was the main reason what kind of pushed me onto Team Trump during the whole Kavanaugh thing. How they were willing to tell this person, well, you're not being convicted of a crime, but you're accusing this person and then saying you're guilty until proven innocent. It's exactly what they're doing today with Trump with the announcement that they're opening up an impeachment inquiry because of the whole this supposed quid pro quo that he had with the president of Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. Basically what happened is supposedly the accusation is that Trump called the president of Ukraine and said, hey, we're not going to give you aid unless you investigate Joe Biden and his son's dealings in this country.
Do people not know every word spoken in the White House on the phone or in an office are recorded? It's all recorded. It's been recorded. I forgot
Trump.
Since
Okay,
when,
so here's what's happening.
What did you call him off his cell phone?
Tomorrow. No, there's a transcript. Tomorrow, Trump is going to release the transcript.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's. But today, the Democrats announced they're going to do an investigation or impeachment inquiry. It's not an impeachment; it's just an inquiry to see if he should be impeached. Okay, based upon this, I say, well, wait a minute, the facts ain't all out yet.
Yeah.
So why don't we wait till all the facts are out, because we still gotta. There's just so much. I'm just done with it. So I was getting a little bit irritated. So I decided, what would a political fast look like for me?
Right.
Because it is good to stay informed. It's good to really like have your ear to the tracks to see where things are going. Because, but at the same time, it's just irritating and frustrating, and I probably need to take a break. And on that note, we probably need to take a break. So with that, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to try to get Angel on the phone. So, all right.